Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share an update on my experience with the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. Now, I unboxed this back on launch, which was April 6th. It retails for $999, and I've been using it ever since, and I'm not one to really use Chromebooks. If you follow my channel, you know you've never seen a Chromebook, and for good reason. I haven't felt that there was a reason to own a Chromebook, at least for me. Now, all of that aside, I've really enjoyed this. The operating system is fleshed out as much as I could have imagined. The always-on capability is great. The 13.3-inch UHD OLED on here is phenomenal. Now, is it better than what I've got on my HP Spectre X360 13T? No. In fact, I would say it's basically the exact same panel, except the 13T can actually be changed in terms of color profiles. Here, we're stuck with just being able to adjust brightness. But let's get to the real problem with this machine, and that is battery life. If you can't see it right there, we have 57% remaining, and the operating system is giving us an estimate of an hour and 41 minutes left. Now, I've tried everything in my power to make battery life better, more palatable. Yes, brightness is all the way up. I know that. I can take it down, but that's not doing us any favors either when it comes to battery life. So what does it amount to? Well, a lot of reviewers have been saying they're getting roughly 4 to 5 hours of battery life. I'm not even getting that. So I'm working hard to see what I can do to change the quality of my review in terms of if there's a way to make this thing go for 6 or 7 hours. I want to make it happen, but right now I can't even get to 5 hours. Build quality is great. Remember, again, if you missed the unboxing, we've got an Intel 10th Gen Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD. We have a micro SD card slot. Again, the star of the show is Samsung's very own UHD 13.3 OLED display, but this AMOLED is just not enough, unfortunately, to differentiate this machine. Yes, it's very lightweight at 2.29 pounds, but after all said and done, this gets battery life like it's a desktop replacement, and meanwhile it's running, Chrome OS. So that's horrible, and I wish I had better news, but for those of you that have been excited about this and read reviews, you probably already knew where this was going. I like the secondary camera. I think it's very much forward-thinking, but practicality, again, with a device with such bad battery life, it makes no sense. If this got 10, 15 hours of battery life, I understand it being an extension of Samsung's Galaxy world, but it frankly doesn't deserve to wear the Galaxy title as far as I'm concerned right now, even if it does speak to Samsung's design language in every way, and it really does. I mean, we've got 2 Type-C ports, again, a micro SD card slot, an S Pen, even though they're not calling it an S Pen, which I love as a Galaxy user. On the other side of the machine, we have a volume rocker. Those of you that got a good laugh that I wasn't sure it was a volume rocker, I really don't see the utility of having a volume rocker. It's not a bad thing to have, but traditionally, that would be on the keyboard, right? But I'm a Windows guy, so what can I say? But another Type-C port, headphone jack. Speaker performance is okay. It's not great. I do believe in cloud computing, but I just haven't felt that we've seen a mature enough product yet to really make the case for replacing machines that are not cloud-driven. And this has the hardware not to be cloud-driven, so that's even more ironic. But again, the problem seems to be battery life. I mean, touchpad is great, keyboard is okay, it doesn't have that much travel, fingerprint scanner, perfectly fine, but the battery life, I don't know what to tell you. And pen input is perfectly fine as well. The fact of the matter is I'm saying perfectly fine a lot and not great or amazing. The only thing that's really reserved for is the display quality and the build overall. And frankly, as good as I think the build is, it's not fantastic, and I'll show you why. First, that display. What the hell? And I'm saying what the hell politely, because not one laptop that I've reviewed really in the last 10 months has this problem anymore. This has gone away. The wobble, I don't care if it's a 2-in-1, it can't be like this. Now, as far as how thin they made this display, wunderbar. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I hope that other manufacturers follow suit. And for all the schmohawks that were saying to me when I said that I wish we had a Windows machine like this, well, what about the Flex? The Flex is only in South Korea, and if you think it's going to be here anytime soon with the pandemic, Considering no street date is out there, there's nothing, don't hold your breath. That's all I'm going to say. We've got a worldwide crisis, and I wouldn't be shocked if it stays in South Korea. By that I mean the Flex. Because, I don't know, this thing is not going to be well received. I can tell you that right now, and that's not because I'm not a Chromebook user, because I like the experience here. But without this having some severe battery advantage, and in fact it has a severe battery disadvantage, because this is worse when it comes to battery life than my HP Spectre X360 13T, Samsung, we've got a problem. So I'm not going to give this even eventually a glowing review, because as much as I like the form factor, as much as I think the battery is terrible, but that the overall fit and finish is great on this machine, and that I could see it being very much worthwhile, this never should have had a 4K display. But it's not really the 4K display's fault. Everyone who says it is clearly doesn't know that this just has a miniature battery, and that's unfortunately what they chose to do, and they didn't need to do that. I mean, had they gone a different way, we'd be dealing with a different machine. That's really how I look at this. I mean, from a web browsing standpoint, it's great, but if the battery dies quicker than a tablet, quicker than a Windows 10 machine, again, like my 13T, what's the purpose? And for those that complained or were upset by the digitizer grid on the 13T, newsflash, it's pretty much the same here. And I knew that was going to be the case, because after all, this is a Samsung panel, and I'm not sure why anyone expected anything different. A little bit of media consumption here. I mean, I can just go into YouTube and you'll see it right now. Let's go ahead, take a look at this random
You're looking at Magfast
selection.
Phenomenal.
Not interested in this ad.
One of the most,
like most of you, never am. And audio is not bad. It's better than my 13T, I can tell you that. Speakers on the side here do a fairly good job at getting loud. Very high gloss screen. If you didn't already notice, you've probably been looking at me almost as much as the display itself. And the display is phenomenal. I mean, but I expected that. Let me go ahead and get the angle back so we're not looking at all glare. I mean, it really has the makings of a fantastic piece of hardware, and it's not that it's a Chromebook, it's that the battery life is crap. So again, I'm hoping I can change that, but as it seems right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a way, unfortunately. And it's sad, because this, I think, in every other way is a solid, incredibly solid step for Chromebooks and for Samsung. And then we have this battery life that just makes it unacceptable, even if it were $500, which it will never be. I mean, who knows? Clearance, it may get there. But who would you really want to give this to, knowing that they couldn't really use it to its potential because of its battery life? And therein lies the problem. And I mean, the pen support is good. I like it. It's just, again, I'll keep coming back to battery life, because I don't know what you're going to do with something like this. And the screen wobble is really not something I'm happy about. Now, the pen performance I actually felt was better than most Windows-based 2-in-1s, and I'm not surprised. I mean, Samsung is very good at that. The pressure sensitivity, in my opinion, is just better. It just feels better. Samsung's kind of mastered that. I am a Galaxy Note user, even though now I'm using the Z Flip. So no surprise that I like this, and that I think the experience here is overall a more polished product, but it's not enough. Again, the battery life at the end of the day kind of makes this thing a dud. So I'm hoping that I find something, but all indicators are pointing towards that there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to fix something that boils down to the internal battery being just way too small. So overall, like the product a lot, but as many of you may have foreseen, battery life seems to undo everything that Samsung did so well here. So overall, first Chromebook, love what I'm seeing, love what I'm experiencing, other than the abysmal battery life. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.